Breaking news! Something's happening in Baltimore that nobody's talking about yet. It's not a flashy trade, it's not a big-time injury, and it's not even about Lamar Jackson directly. But make no mistake, this could have a bigger impact on the Ravens' future than any headline you've seen all offseason. What if I told you that one of the most important players on this roster, someone at the absolute core of the offense, might be on his way out, and the front office seems fine with it? But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens," down below. I want to see the whole flock in here. Now let's get into exactly what's going on and why this quiet situation might explode in a way that changes everything. Tyler Linderbaum, the Ravens starting center, the anchor of the offensive line, and the man who's quietly helped keep Lamar Jackson upright and in rhythm for the past few years, is at a crossroads with the organization. And fans, we might be heading straight toward a cliff. According to a recent report from Ricky Scoops, Linderbaum is rumored to be seeking a contract extension in the ballpark of $20 million per year. That number? It's not just high, it's market resetting. And here's the thing, it's not sitting well with Baltimore's front office. In fact, based on all available signs, the team might not be even remotely close to giving in to those demands. Let's rewind for a second. The Ravens declined Tyler Linderbaum's fifth-year option earlier this offseason, a move that raised more than a few eyebrows. At first glance, it was a head-scratcher. Linderbaum has been nothing short of excellent since arriving in Baltimore. Unlike many of the centers the team has rolled with over the past decade, the Bradley Bosemans, the Matt Skuras, the Ryan Jensens, even Jason Browns and Jeremy Zuttas, Linderbaum is a true center. He wasn't converted from guard. He didn't just fill a gap. He was built for this role, and he's been dominant in it. So why would the Ravens let him walk into a contract year without some form of long-term security? Well, that fifth-year option would have been worth $23.4 million in 2026, significantly higher than the current top-paid center in the league, who's earning around $18 million per year. The Ravens aren't strangers to financial caution. They've historically avoided going overboard when it comes to interior linemen. But now, that cautious approach could come back to haunt them. Because Tyler Linderbaum, he knows what he's worth. And it's not just about his performance on the field. It's about who he's protecting. Lamar Jackson isn't just any quarterback. He's the franchise, the MVP, the centerpiece of this team's identity. And if you claim to love Lamar, if you want him to perform at the highest level and stay healthy all season, then you need to value the people keeping him clean in the pocket. You need to pay the center and pay him fairly. Yet, many in the fan base seem oddly ready to move on. The logic? Centers are replaceable. You don't draft a center in the first round if you're not willing to let him walk. You can find a serviceable one later in the draft or in free agency. But this line of thinking drastically underestimates what Linderbaum brings to the table. He's not just serviceable. He's elite. He's durable. He's been a pillar of consistency on a line that's faced injuries, shuffling, and constant pressure. He doesn't win every rep. No lineman does. But what he offers is stability, and that's exactly what Lamar Jackson needs to thrive. So if the Ravens are serious about giving Lamar every chance to lead this team deep into the playoffs, why are they hesitating? There's a real possibility this situation gets ugly. Right now, things are peaceful. No holdouts. No drama. Linderbaum is going about his business like a pro. But come season's end, if that extension isn't on the table, the franchise tag could enter the conversation, and that's where things could spiral. No player wants the tag. It's 1 year of guaranteed money, yes, but it's a gamble on health, on form, on future earnings. Linderbaum, like any smart player, knows this. And if the Ravens go that route, we've seen how it can fracture relationships. What makes this even more tense is that Baltimore's actions, declining the fifth-year option, staying silent on extension talks, and their long-standing reluctance to overpay interior linemen, are painting a very clear picture. They might not be willing to meet Tyler Linderbaum's demands, even if those demands are justified. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. If the Ravens don't pay Linderbaum, someone else absolutely will. There are teams across the league, franchises with young quarterbacks, shaky offensive lines, or even just the cap space to burn, that would snatch him up in a heartbeat. A proven, top-tier center in his prime doesn't hit the open market very often, and when one does, the bidding war starts fast. So Baltimore can't assume that they'll just let him test the waters and get him back on a team-friendly deal. That won't happen. If they let him walk, they're walking him right into someone else's lineup. And just imagine how brutal that would be to see Tyler Linderbaum anchoring the line in Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, or even Kansas City. Think that's far-fetched? It's not. All it takes is one offer. Now let's look at this from Linderbaum's side for a moment. He's played at a high level. He's kept his head down, worked, stayed healthy, and done exactly what's been asked of him. And in return, the organization has already shown signs of hesitancy. They haven't publicly criticized him, sure, but the fifth-year option decline and silence around serious extension talks send a message. And for a player who already took on the pressure of being a first-round pick at a non-glamorous position, it's got to feel like he's being asked to prove himself all over again. How many more boxes does he need to check? There's also something else to consider, the domino effect. If Linderbaum walks, it's not just about replacing one center. It's about the entire chemistry of the offensive line. It's about building trust with Lamar Jackson again. Remember, Lamar isn't a plug-and-play quarterback. His game is built on timing, on movement, on instinct. That relationship between quarterback and center, it's sacred. And rebuilding that with a rookie or a free agent, no matter how talented, isn't seamless. It takes time. Time this team might not have in a loaded AFC where margins are razor thin. And this isn't just about stats or tape. This is about culture. Tyler Linderbaum is a Ravens guy. Hard-nosed, blue-collar, does the work, doesn't talk, just produces. Letting him walk sends a message not just to the fans, but to the locker room. It says, even if you do everything right, we still might not pay you. That's dangerous. Now, for those who argue the cap won't allow it, let's look at the facts. The Ravens have already committed major money to Lamar, to Roquan, to Marlon Humphrey, to Ronnie Stanley. Yes, the cap is real, but it's also flexible. If they want to make it happen, they can. It's a matter of priorities. Is keeping Linderbaum part of that plan? Or are they ready to plug in the next patchwork center and hope it works again? And again, it all comes back to this. What are you willing to pay to protect your franchise quarterback? Because it's not just about sacks. It's about rhythm. It's about clean snaps, protection calls, knowing tendencies. If Lamar is the engine, Linderbaum is the ignition switch. If you remove that and expect everything else to stay the same, you're playing with fire. Now let's take this even further. What happens if things go sour before we even get to free agency? What if Linderbaum doesn't get a deal and he starts to speak up mid-season? What if the tag is used and a holdout begins? Are the Ravens really ready for another off-season drama around a core player right after the entire saga with Lamar last year? It's deja vu, and it can be avoided if they act now. But will they? Fans, this one's on you. What message do you want to send? Do you want the front office to step up and lock down a key piece of this offense for years to come? Or are you ready to see another foundational player leave in the prime of his career? Drop your thoughts below. Should the Ravens give Tyler Linderbaum the contract he deserves? Or is $20 million too steep for a center, no matter how good he is? And don't forget, if you made it this far, make sure you're subscribed. Drop a like to support the channel, and check out the videos on screen now for more deep Ravens coverage. We'll be back soon with more updates, breakdowns, and all the insider talk that matters to Ravens Nation.